Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Junko F Jr. I know it's been a very, very long time since we've put out a video, but like I've said in the past few videos, life had gotten busy for us, and with creating videos, it's never been an income for me, but it's just been a fun thing that I like to do to share the journey with everybody and experiences and a little bit of how-to on stuff. So I've always been glad I could do that, but it's time to hopefully get this thing fired back up again. So got a little project here. The square body crew cab needed a new radiator, so I've got that installed, but while the coolant's drained out of it, I wanted to do another improvement to this truck to make a heater bypass valve slash shutoff, whatever you want to call it, I don't really know. So on LS, you have to have the heater core is essentially a loop, and coolant is constantly flowing through there, and that's what gives the thermostat signal to open up. So you can't just shut it off with a ball valve like you would a traditional old V8, because then your thermostat's not going to work properly. And I found some companies online that make one, and it's kind of a big bulky hunk of billet aluminum. It kind of looks nice, but it's just not my style, and by the time I add this stuff to it, I was like, I don't know, I think I can just build something. So that's what I did. So right over here we've got a supply of stainless steel. Now this is the theory. We've got two stainless steel 1/2-inch pipe thread tees, and then we've got stainless steel 1/2-inch pipe thread to 3/4 and 5/8 hose, and they're all going to get welded together just like this. And then we got a ball valve here, so that a 1/4 turn ball valve, so we can just shut the flow off to the heater core. So summertime, as it's getting hotter, we might as well keep all the heat out of the cab as we can. The AC's always worked great in this truck, but if we can do something like this to make it work a little bit better in Florida heat, as we're approaching these, mid 90-degree days, yeah, we might as well make it work better. So this would absolutely work if I just screwed it all together like that, cut it in line with the heater hoses and put some clamps on it. But that's not my style. Every time you have a connection in plumbing, that's another opportunity for a leak in my mind. So I like to keep it to a minimum. Now you have to have connections, there's no way around that. But look at what we got here. I could get a threaded union and screw these two together. So there's 2 chances for leaks. There's 2 more chances for leaks. There's another chance for a leak, 1 and 1. So when you add all this together, holy smokes, that's a lot of chance for leaks. That's all pipe thread, which is not uncommon. It's, standard stuff. And you put Teflon tape on it all and it should all be sealed. But I wanted to clean it up a little bit, make it a little more presentable and less bulky. So what we're going to do is take all these fittings and cut the threads off of them, and then clean up this hex a little bit so that it just fits flush down here on the T. So it'll be kind of like that. So we can get rid of all those threads that are going to be exposed. It's going to shorten it up, clean it up, make it look a lot better. So we're going to start by cutting all these down in the lathe, and then we can weld everything together. And the only connection, threaded connection that we'll have is going to be the ball valve itself. Obviously we can't weld on that, it will ruin the seals inside it. So let's head on over to the lathe and get started trimming these down. Alright, get this snugged up in the chuck there, and like I said, we're just going to cut all these threads off because I don't want to use them at all. Chamfer the inside a little bit, knock any burrs off that may be in there. Move the back of the cutter out. Come in here and nip those points off just so it meshes up a little bit better for our weld. And just like that, we got rid of all those ugly threads that would have been exposed if we were to just screw it all together. So now, whenever we weld it together, it's going to be nice and tight like that instead of bulky like that with all those threads exposed. It's going to be a much cleaner look. I'm going to throw this back into the lathe and just nip these points off here to clean it up a little bit and just get rid of some of that hex. We don't need all that bulk material there. It'll just make for a little nicer weld. It'll be a little more round instead of having each flat so big, so it'll match up a little bit nicer for us. So we're just going to trim these points off of that hex, make it a little more round, a little less flat. Just clean it up some before that weld, nice clean look. Just like that, all cut down in threads, and then I could cut a little bit more on there. You know, I think I'm going to while it's here. It doesn't take but another second. Let's just trim down those flats a little bit more. There we go. That's the look I was going for. Nice and clean. We'll come right around that, weld it directly to the T. I've got to face these just a little bit. There's a little casting burr on it right there. So I want those to sit nice and flush so we can just come right around there and weld it, and that'll be done. There's the first one. Turned out pretty decent. So a couple more to go. Got to put the 3/4 on opposite side because I'm going to put the ball valve on the 5/8 side. So we're only going to do one side of that T. But we're just going to repeat the process. But turned out pretty good. There you have it. There's our H valve. Now, is it going to be the most high flowing? Definitely not. But when the heater circuit is shut off, that's going to be the low flow side of things because of just the resistance going around this H manifold, if you will. But it's okay because we just need that small signal going to open up the thermostat, like I said. So when it's all together, it'll look something like this. We got to let this cool off, and we're going to, shine it up a little bit and get rid of those rainbows on there. But that ball valve is just going to go like that. And yes, that ball valve is restrictive compared to what was there, but it's still going to have hot water going to the heater core, so it will work. Now, maybe the heater core won't be as efficient as it was before, but you know what? We're in Florida. We need that AC a whole lot more than we need the heater, so I think we'll be all right. And again, this is just a homemade thing. I'm not saying it's the best. It certainly works in my mind. It's a pretty simple thing, and it's cheaper and easier. I mean, I think I got maybe 30, 35 bucks wrapped up in fittings here. And of course, my time and labor, I never really put a price on that because I have the tools here, so it's not like that matters to me. So if you guys have the tools and abilities, yeah, you can certainly build something like this cheaper than you can buy it. But if not, you can look online and find some other similar stuff. They're just not quite my style. So here we are building one. All right, so we're just gonna hit a little rouge on the buffing wheel, clean this up, get rid of the rainbow on there from the weld. Won't be perfect, can't really get all the nooks and crannies, but we'll get the bulk of it. Just like that. Shined up. Got rid of all the, rainbow stuff, the stuff you see anyways. Now we can just hit it with a little bit of cleaner, knock that residual rouge off there, and she's ready to put together and cut some hoses and put it on. Teflon tape is going to be required on these pipe thread fittings. However, it is stainless going into stainless, and that will gall itself terribly. The threads, they start to shred and kind of just melt themselves together. So I like to put some Teflon tape on them and then a little bit of anti-seize. I've always had good luck with that in the past. I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong. It's just something that's worked for me. In theory, the Teflon should, lubricate the threads and seal them at the same time. But I've just had good luck putting a little bit of traditional old anti-seize on there, and I never had an issue with fittings sticking or galling. Not that this is going to be taken apart. I have no reason or, foresight that that's going to happen, but it'll let it tighten up all the way and properly, because if it were to stick while you're tightening up, there's a good chance that it's as tight as you could get it with a wrench, but it's not gonna seal. So you got to have the 2-for-1 there. So Teflon tape, a little bit of anti-seize, doesn't take a lot. You don't want to make a mess with it. Put a little bit on the male part of the fitting, and we'll do a little bit on the female part just to let it slip into place. Nice and smooth like butter. And I already checked on the truck the way this is going to be oriented. This is going to be the top side, so I want the valve, the handle for the valve to be on the top so it's easy to access when everything's back together. And, this is just one of those things that, gosh dang, this is what I'm such a nerd about. This one's for you, David. Yes, it's made in another country that we don't prefer, but gosh dang it, a Squirrel brand wrench, that's the good stuff. I don't know, I'm dumb about it. It's a cool wrench, it just fits good, feels good. And I have no idea what a Squirrel brand wrench is, but it's kind of entertaining. I think we can get another round on there. It still feels pretty good. Because pipe thread's weird, it's one of those tapered things. The more you go, the tighter it gets, so you got to be careful with it. Hopefully you don't do something stupid and split this. But the tighter it is, the more it's going to seal, and it keeps everything a little more compact and looking clean like we want. So before we go too far and have to back it up, let's just check it. That's pretty dang close. We could go a hair more, and I'm going to do that just to keep that as straight as we can. Right there. That feels good. Certainly looks good. Cleaned up real nice. I'm happy with that. Now we can put our last fitting in here. And again, a little bit of anti-seize. It just dang feels good. Don't have to worry about it. If you can reduce the chance of something going wrong and sticking like that, take the time and do it. It is worth it in the long run. There we go. So there's our LS heater core bypass shut-off valve. So these two go to the water pump. These two are going to the heater core. When it's shut off like this, our coolant's going to go through here, or whichever way it flows. I don't know. I don't care. It doesn't matter. So it's just going to make a loop like that and go back past the thermostat, open it up like we talked about earlier. And then in the wintertime, open this up, and it's going to take the path of least resistance. So it's going to go all the way around through the heater core and back out. Yeah, there might be a little bit that exchanges through there. I don't see the need to put another valve there because in theory it should take the path of least resistance. So it may not be 100%, but it's going to work. I feel pretty confident in it. But the main thing is when that valve shut off, there's no hot water going to the heater core. So the heater core is going to be in the AC box. So if we can keep that heat out of there, the AC is going to work better. And when you got a big old cab like this crew cab, hey, we'll take everything we can get. Let's get it installed on the truck. All right, so we're eyeballing to see where this valve is going to go. There's not an ideal place because we've got heater hoses, we've got air conditioning hoses, hard lines and soft lines all right here together, and supercharger coolant lines. So there's just not an ideal situation here. This is pretty compact, like I said, because we cut so much threads off there and welded it directly instead of it being even longer. So it is going to work fine. And I put some little marks here just to start with cutting our hose, so we can go ahead and just pull those off of the water pump down there, cut these, and then we can just make those shorter on that end going to the water pump. And yeah, it's against this hard line for the AC now, but whenever we cut it and put it in line, it's going to drop down. So I think it's going to fit pretty nice. So let's go ahead and do the messy part and lose a little bit of coolant that's in these hoses and make a mess and carry on. We ended up putting 2 new short pieces of hose down here. This up here seems to be fine. Cycles. So for now, we're going to leave this inline valve, the air out of the heater core, fill it up with coolant. It's all back together. And unfortunately, the air cleaner pretty much covers it up, but it is tucked in down there, and you can see we got it in the closed position. Went ahead and filled up the system with coolant, bled it all out, and shut that valve off. So now it's time to go for a test drive. So far, so good on the heater shut-off situation. Drove the truck to work today. It sat in the parking lot all day, and it's been about a 92, 93 degree day here in Florida. Hardly any cloud cover, just the sun beating down. So this truck is really hot, and it's definitely cooling off a lot quicker than it used to. It's not, like it's a whole nother AC kit in the truck or anything like that. It's just one of those little things that definitely helps, but it's not an ultimate cure of getting rid of Florida heat. You can't escape that. But all in all, I'm happy with it. It works pretty good. So we'll keep logging some miles on this thing. Also, FYI, just for the record, this truck is over 70,000 miles now. So I'm loving it. It's been an awesome truck, and just can't wait to keep driving it some more. So hope you all enjoyed it. Thanks for watching Junk Jr. We'll see you next time.